Welcome to the Diwali celebration episode at the Emerging Lawyer series of the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Balancing Scalpel and Statutes. Riddhi Aswani on healthcare, law, and compliance. In the fast-paced world of medical technology, where innovation meets regulation, legal guidance becomes the backbone of trust and compliance. Few professionals embody this bridge better than Riddhi Aswani, legal counsel at Medtronic, India. With over a decade of experience spanning litigation, compliance, corporate advisory, and teaching, she has built a career rooted in legal advisory, ethics, adaptability, and precision. From shaping policies to safeguarding data privacy and guiding collaborations in the healthcare sector, Riddhi's journey reflects the evolving role of lawyers in specialized industries. In today's conversation, we explore a story of resilience, balance, and the pursuit of excellence inside and outside the boardroom. And we also come to know Riddhi as a person. So, welcome, Riddhi, to today's coffee conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know too many Riddhis. One of my friends, she's a psychologist. So, one, two, three, four Riddhis.
I hope all good Riddhis and good memories with Riddhis.
Yeah, yeah. Chalo. So let me explain you. There'll be three rounds: professional journey, personal journey, and a surprise rapid fire round where you'll be the hot seat and you're so inspired. Legal AI 101, which will be autographed and sent to you as your Diwali gift. So, friend, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So, my first question for your professional journey round, Riddhi: how has the journey shaped up, and what were the key defining moments?
Thank you for that question. So I actually like to say that I've had a atypical professional journey. I am not the kind of a professional that you will meet that has, their decision made very early on in their teaching in their student years, so to speak. When I finished my LLB, I was very keen to get into academia, which is why I immediately started pursuing my LLM. And there I felt that I wanted to get into teaching, which is what I again then immediately went into. And while I was pursuing my UGC NET certification, I continued teaching in some good colleges here in Mumbai. And one fine day, I happened to have a very dear colleague of mine tell me about an opportunity that was open in a multinational organization. And it was in the field of compliance. And I was asked if I wanted to pursue it. And I said, yes, sure, why not? It seemed like something that was right up my alley. And I was encouraged by this senior colleague of mine to pursue it. So I did, and I got through my first corporate set up my first corporate job, which was as a compliance counsel. 3.5 wonderful years and amazing colleagues, a very amazing senior, someone who has taught me a lot about how to persevere, how to not take no for an answer, how to really convince someone that you have their best interest at heart, even though you might be talking a very tough language. I think that was a fantastic experience. And then from there, where I am currently in the medtech space, about coming in on 6.5, 7 years, fantastic journey. I think it's been one of my most very close to my heart because I feel like what I do today is something that contributes in a very small way to some patient's life somewhere. And that really makes me feel like the work, and sometimes it's hard work, but that work really means something more than just looking at contracts or doing your job. It feels like it's like value added somewhere in a slightly more significant way. So it's been fantastic. And what I would say is my most favorite part of it is that I've gotten to experience this wide gambit of different roles, different perspectives, the approach to my work in each of the three pillars that I have been in, teaching, compliance, legal, has been different. But it's always been fun because I get to learn different things and I get to stay on my toes. And I don't get bored ever because I'm constantly learning and constantly evolving. So it's been great.
Wow. So let's build up a conversation. Medtech is a highly regulated sector,
Mhm.
Riddhi. How do you balance business needs with strict regulatory requirements?
So, what I feel and what I have learned from my seniors, especially in the medtech industry when I was working for the last 6.5 years, is that we do have to reframe the narrative a little bit. I think legal has a tendency to be looked as someone that is fond of saying no very often. And I think what many of us in the industry now, as well as many of my peers, what we're doing is we are reframing the narrative to become business partners, business enablers, and we come into the conversation more as not as you can't do this, but hey, look, this is what you can do in this way, and this is where we can help you change the way your plan has originally been constructed, or this is the way we can help you approach it in a more streamlined manner. I think that conversation is a better conversation to have, and that conversation is what is really getting us access to rooms and seats at tables where perhaps previously we were not having access to, or we were not getting a seat at that table. And I think we are now working on developing trust with our stakeholders, with our commercial leaders in such a way that they approach you proactively and they really want your input from the very initiation of their project. And that I think really helps because even at that very first instance that they are making their project, they are thinking, hey, look, let's pull in our legal colleague because we know we work in a very regulated industry. We know that particularly right now in India, medtech is seeing a sea change in terms of the applicable regulations. There are codes that are coming in that regulate promotional material, that regulate what kind of interactions can happen with doctors, with hospitals. So there is obviously a lot of regulatory churn, lot of regulatory updates that are coming in. So it's really at the forefront of your business colleagues' mind that, hey, look, let's pull in legal very early on. Let's pull in compliance very early on so that we can approach this in a systematic manner. And it's not so much as an afterthought because now you have that trust and that friendship developed.
Wow, beautiful. So, Riddhi, with evolving data privacy laws in India, how do you foresee privacy compliance changing in the next 5 years for medtech sector?
I see a sea change. And I'll tell you personally also from what I have seen. We've had very little understanding or very little, I would say, privacy as our lexicon. It doesn't really form a very inherent part of our lexicon sometimes because we're very free with giving our Aadhaar card details anywhere and everywhere, or our PAN card details anywhere and everywhere. And I think what is really interesting is, though it is a fundamental right under Article 21, right to privacy, there are very few people that understand how to enforce that right, or to really get any corporation that they've given their private data to protect that data and enforce these other rights, that data deletion, data correction, so on and so forth, that is available to people. So I think that globally already medtech has, there's HIPAA, there's GDPR in Europe. We do live in a post GDPR world where privacy and private data are protected, very very inherently protected. And most of these other geographies look at privacy at the very get-go, and I think that is definitely already percolated down to India. And I see with the DPDPA now, and hopefully the rules coming out very soon as well, though they are already out, but for them to become enforced, I think it will really change a lot of how we do business in India. I think we're already prepared. Most multinationals are already prepared. We're only waiting for maybe final confirmations about what kind of additional enforcement timelines would come down. But I do see that the common man in India will become a lot more aware about what happens to their data, where does it go, and what they can do to get their data deleted or get their data returned, or these other host of rights that they have access to.
Wow. So, Riddhi, how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
I feel like I am today a very different individual than I was even say like 2 years ago. I very recently had a conversation with my current manager, and they did tell me that your approach to things has changed a lot in the last 2 years, and I think obviously a lot of it is with age, a lot of it is with experience and the wisdom that comes with age. But I also feel that I am a lot more not very quick to trigger. I feel like I'm not very, I used to be like, okay, here is a problem, here is the solution. Whereas I take a more measured approach today. I would say, okay, I hear your problem. Let me think on it and come back to you. And not for the lack of knowing what to say in that moment, but more so, I want to make sure that I'm approaching all angles, I'm counting all my bases, so to speak, and then giving a response in that moment. So I would say,
Wow.
yeah, more ठहराव, like you say, Hindi में ठहराव आ गया है. I would say that's where I am.
Wow. So, Riddhi, you have won awards like Above and Beyond and the Global Impact Award. What do such recognition mean to you, and how do they impact your work ethics?
So awards are obviously amazing. They obviously make you feel very happy because it feels like it's a recognition of the effort that you have put in. But to be very honest, once you're off the stage and you've put up your LinkedIn post and you've spoken to your colleagues about it, you really go back to everyday life and you go back to okay, what do I do about this one particular thing that is pending in my inbox? Or tomorrow I have to go meet so
Hmm.
and so here. I have to go for a council briefing. I have to go for a negotiation with this other party that I'm negotiating a contract with. What I do feel is that what recognition does is that it does make someone feel, hey, look, let's get excited about the next big project that we're going to work on. Or let's get excited about how do I do something innovative and how do I, make sure that I am at least living up to the expectations I have of myself, which have now been elevated because of the recognition. And I think that really makes a difference in the approach you have to things. Coming to work ethic, I think your ethics remain the same. You continue to be dedicated to your work, you continue showing up every day to the best of your abilities, and you leave the recognition as hoga, nahi hoga to, it's fine. You yourself know that you're putting in your 100% every single day.
Wow. So, Riddhi, you have conducted trainings and workshops across teams. How important is legal awareness among non legal professionals?
A lot. Before we started this conversation, we were talking about conflict of interest. We were talking about knowing, hey, when you're in the public domain, what you should be speaking about, what you should not be speaking about. What are the areas where you can say, this is my personal opinion, and what are the areas where even saying this is my personal opinion has no bearing on my employer. There is still a line that you can no longer draw because the law does not allow it. And obviously, there are instances where all of us in our everyday lives are having access to tremendous amount of information, and we're going out there and taking decisions. So I think definitely for the everyday man, it's very important, or the everyday woman for that matter, to know the law. The first thing we're taught actually in law school is ignorance of law is not a defense that is available to anyone. No one can say that I didn't know that I had to wear a helmet and get away with it. It's not on you to say that, oh, I didn't know, I never read it anywhere, nobody told me. That's not an excuse under the law. So the more we kind of then are aware that that is not something that we can claim anywhere, I think the more you can have an approach with people that you're talking to, or even when I'm training non-legal professionals in my organization, or for that matter on any occasion, any forum, I am trying to break down everything to as simplified a format as I can, so that it's easier to consume, and really trying to get that message across that these are rights that you should know and these are responsibilities that you should know, because without knowing them, you could land yourself as well as your organization in trouble. It's very easy to say that I'm looking at the commercials, but are you looking at competition law? Are you looking at, are you permitted to do this without a license? There are 100 different things that even the layman can have at least a working knowledge of. So I think that that really is very important. And most people that do conduct trainings would be able to tell you that it's very important for you to sit for whatever trainings you've been assigned.
Wow. So, Riddhi, you've been a visiting faculty in law colleges. My first question will be dividing into three parts. What got you interested into teaching? How has teaching shaped your approach as a corporate counsel, and what has been the most memorable moment in your teaching sessions?
Okay, let me take one at a time. What got me into teaching is I enjoyed law college a lot, and major part of that was because of my teachers. And I felt that I could do a good job as a teacher, and I wanted to see how much of that is a factual statement and how much of that is a hypothesis for me. So I did take it up. What I enjoyed a lot is the energy of a classroom. And I still do. Whenever I get an opportunity to take a training, I still take it up, though I'm not teaching students anymore. But I enjoy the energy of a classroom. I enjoy coming to a classroom and posing a problem, putting up a problem statement at the beginning of the class, and then trying to unravel each element of that problem and watching students unravel those sort of intertwined threads themselves. I used to love putting a problem on the board, or even give out chits with problems for groups to solve, and then just ask them to come to the front of the class and tell me what is your approach to that problem, because that's something that really surprises you, because you might not think of an approach that one of the students is taking. And even as someone that quote unquote knows the subject matter very well and is therefore teaching it, you can be really surprised by perspectives. I myself used to have so many occasions where I'm talking at the head of the class, and I have stumbled upon a perspective while talking that I have never thought about before, or an angle to approach that particular problem that I had never thought about before. So I like that energy and that self discovery that happens through teaching as well as interacting with students on a regular basis. I'm sorry, what's the third question?
Memorable moment.
My most memorable moment, I would say, is when one of my ex students actually reached out to me, and she was applying for um, an Ivy League school. And she very candidly shared with me that some of my lectures were still very much with her, and the energy that I brought to the classroom, or the kind of interactions that I had with them, they were still very much with her. And I think that was very special for me, because I had already moved on from teaching at that point. So I obviously had a different life, a different set of worries that I was involved in. But that one moment really felt like, okay, that was something really special, and I was able to create something special in that room. At least that's the way it was put to me. And I think that was very memorable for me because that was something unexpected that happened at that point in time.
Wow. So Riddhi, AI is impacting everywhere. So how is AI impacting health and pharma sector laws?
AI is actually one of those few things where the potential is so endless that most industries are learning on the go, and most definitely it's the same with medtech as well. The potentials are humongous. I'll give you a very simple example. AI can be embedded in large scale devices and equipment, and can help surgeons identify how to make techniques, maybe make tweaks in their techniques so that there is a better patient outcome at the end. And that's just one of the many use cases that can be taken up for just the medtech industry. I can only imagine 100 other use cases for other industries in the world. So I think as far as evolution of the technology is concerned, AI is here to stay. And more so than not, it is something that we have to learn how to work with in a beneficial manner. There is definitely room for the laws to catch up, but I feel like our regulators are very agile today. Our legislature is very agile today, though there are obviously exceptions to that rule. But by and large, our legislature is quite agile, and I think we might see a lot of development in this area. And like many experts say, I don't think that the future is one where AI will replace human beings, but most certainly the future is one where AI will um, ask human beings to step up and work with AI. And only those that know how to work with AI would probably find a place in the future, or at least most of them who know how to work with AI would find a place in the future. So I'm quite
Wow.
excited. I see a lot of interest in AI in contracts. I myself am a student of how AI and AI related protections have to be built into contracts. So I'm very excited to see how this evolves.
Wow. So Riddhi, how do you mentor your young legal professionals in your team?
Very good question. I think it comes from a place of wanting to maybe understand what their goals are in the first instance. And I'm not saying that the very minute you enter your first job, you need to know exactly what you want from your career. I should be the last one to say this because I've taken multiple pivots in my own professional journey. So I never approach it from that perspective, but I do try and understand what their short term goal is, whether the short term goal is to become a subject matter expert, whether the short term goal is that they would like to work on a certain kind of matter or a certain kind of area. Then whatever is within my control to give them experience and access to, I try and do that. I have benefited a lot in my career with leaders taking a chance on me, giving me exposure that maybe at that point in time I didn't have the tools to live up to. But as the opportunity came my way, I developed that with time. And I think it really, I would say, has helped me build myself as a professional, that people took chances on me. And I think that's what I try and do when the role is reversed. Take a chance on someone and give them an opportunity and give them the tools to actually succeed, and then just sit back and watch, I guess.
Wow. So Riddhi, in your opinion, what's the single biggest misconception people have about legal and compliance professionals in healthcare?
So my answer would be slightly nuanced, if I can. I wouldn't say that there is a misconception, but I do believe that we, as even legal professionals or compliance professionals for that matter, um, we get great joy in understanding that our work contributes towards some patient's life somewhere. And though our work can be, very intensive on paperwork, very intensive on legal jargon, I think seeing a patient story at the end of the day, or I used to, when I was in compliance, I also used to work very closely with approving certain interactions where patient cases were up for uh, for support, or whatever the case may be. And I used to really go above and beyond to be there for that kind of transaction, or for that kind of a negotiation, because I used to get a personal sense of satisfaction that, hey, whatever extra time that I'm spending, it's really going towards something which gives me a broader sense of purpose and a broader sense of happiness than just this is my job and I have to do my job. So I think in healthcare in particular, I feel this might just be true for everyone, not just legal compliance, but like everyone, all enabling functions, all support functions. I think we all derive a lot of joy in the fact that there is someone's life that we can, in a very small way, touch indirectly.
Wow. So my last question for your professional journey now, Nidhi. What's one skill or mindset shift you believe every young lawyer should adopt to thrive in an in-house counsel roles?
Mindset shift, I would say, is and this is something I myself practice as well. I never say no to anything. I never say no to any kind of work. And I know it sounds antithesis to the work-life balance that I myself also believe very much in. I do believe there should be a work-life balance. But at the same time, I think as an in-house counsel, you're not only doing a single kind of work day in and day out. Every day might be very different from the other. What might be asked of you on a day that you're working on contracts will be very different from what might be asked of you sitting across from a regulator and responding to queries about the business model, or so on and so forth. So I think one thing I would say definitely is don't say no to any kind of work. Don't come with a preconceived notion that I'm going for a desk job, that I'm going to sit on a single desk and I'm going to work on a single kind of transaction or a single kind of file. And definitely be open to what I call not double hatting, but sort of cross functional in a more fluid kind of way. Because very often, as legal, you're also negotiating commercials that are not necessarily your role to play. I have a very, very close colleague of mine who works in the insurance industry, and she's very hands on with even commercial negotiations, and she's very much present in that area as well. Similarly, I have colleagues in media where they are sitting in on rights that are not only about purchasing the IP, but also a host of other rights. So I think the other thing I would say is that be ready to be fluid in terms of what is strictly a legal area versus what is maybe something more. And I think that might give you access to experiences and opportunities that if you were very rigid, you might not get access to.
Wow, beautiful. So let's go to the next one and understand Riddhi as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Sure. So I am a Sindhi. My entire family, both my maternal as well as my paternal side of my family, migrated to Mumbai actually not post, slightly before partition of India. And my parents' generation was born here in Mumbai, and I was born and brought up here my entire life. I am a first generation lawyer. I have not had any lawyers in my entire family at on any side. And seeing me, or I don't know, maybe I would like to look at it positively. My brother also happens to be a lawyer. So we joke with each other that, maybe somewhere down the line, we'll just open a firm together and start our own
Wow.
business. But that's where we are currently. I got married in the year 2022, and I'm based with my husband now in Mumbai. And I am a legal professional who enjoys horror movies and also enjoys writing and reading a lot.
Wow. So we'll come to those questions. So let's go to Praveen Gandhi College of Law. What are your memories and experience from there?
So when I joined that college, it was called SVKM's College of Law. It was not called Praveen Gandhi at that point in time. There were only two batches that had joined before us. So we were only the third batch of that college. And that gave us a lot of freedom to innovate on different um, groups of activities that we could take up. We were able to formulate committees and create them from the ground up. Like, for example, my friends and myself, we really came up with the college newsletter, and we were able to actually build it from the ground up and make a lot of different decisions that we would ordinarily maybe not get access to if this was a pre-established system. Great years. I very, very fondly think of my principal, college principal, Dr. Divedi. He is no more. He's sitting in heaven and looking down at me right now. He really gave us a lot of opportunities, a lot of valuable experiences. And I feel like, and I say it very proudly, my education and my college years were no less than an end school. And it's been great. I still go back to college whenever I get the opportunity. I still meet my teachers very fondly. And I think Praveen Gandhi College of Law has been really instrumental in getting me where I am today. Not for just having taught me the law, but also having shaped me as an individual.
So, Riddhi, if your friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would they say?
So when I actually saw this question, I messaged my various friend groups asking for these answers, because it felt very pompous to come up with the answers myself. So I did ask my friends, and a few words that they said was witty. A few of them said sharp. A few of them said happy-go-lucky, which is obviously something that speaks more to my non-professional personality. Some of them said that I am very determined in life. I'm very detail oriented. I think about the small things generally. And yeah, those are some of those words.
Oh, beautiful. So, what's one family tradition you still hold on close and never miss?
I come from actually a family that after a certain point we became a nuclear family. So it was just my parents and myself and my brother. And we used to go to Juhu Beach on every Sunday and spend time. At that point, there were horse carts at Juhu Beach, which I know obviously with age and wisdom, I know that that was not the best thing for the animals, which is a cause very close to my heart. But at that time, we used to enjoy Ghoda Gadi, and we used to enjoy Bhutta and Naril Pani and all of that. And those memories are actually very close to my heart, because they are part of my early years. And today, whenever I get the opportunity, my brother and myself will wake up very early on a Sunday morning, and we'll go to the beach and just sit by the beach and grab a naril pani together. And I think we like to relive those days, sitting on the beach. And I think in Mumbai there is no more authentic experience than sitting by the ocean.
Wow. So, in your college days, uh, which was your spot you and your friends uh, to chill out and relax?
In my college days, if you're familiar with the Mithibai canteen, there is nothing better than the Mithibai canteen. The other day, I was sitting with my friends and we were talking how we used to pay 12 rupees for an idli sambar all the way back in 2011. And now it's some extremely exorbitant amount. Not for us, but I'm guessing for the students. And we used to really enjoy hanging out in the Mithibai canteen. I can count on my hand the number of occasions I've gone anywhere else but Ginny Dosa, Mithibai canteen, the Mithibai Vada Pav. That's it. Those were our spots.
Wow. So, which is a book or movie which has left a lasting impact on you?
So, very, very early in my life, when I started taking up, so I was a voracious reader my entire life. I used to read a lot of Goosebumps, Enid Blyton's, um, uh, those kind of kids. Kid specific Harry Potter's, for example, I used to read that. But I think as an adult, one of the first few books that I read was by this book called Tell Me Your Dreams by Sidney Sheldon. It's
Mhm.
it's a book about this lady who has certain psychological impact of her life experiences on her, and she suffers from multiple personality disorders, and
Mhm.
she also gets caught up in a murder investigation, and there is a court case attached to the entire story as well, and how that mystery unravels. It's one of the first books that I perhaps read with a more adult tone, and it's stayed with me my entire life. I think I got a lot of my experience, a lot of my interest in court cases from that book as well, because the way the court case unravels also in the book is fantastic. And having aged since so many years, Sidney Sheldon obviously is a very, very amazing writer, but obviously they've written books quite a long time back. The book has not aged badly. The book still holds up. Like till today, if I read it, I think the story still holds up perfectly. And I think that's one of the beauties of that book.
Wow. So, yeah, since we're celebrating Diwali, what message would you like to give to our viewers out there?
I would like to give a message to have an amazing Diwali, have a safe Diwali. I would give the message that look up gold prices if they are not climbed much more than the time that we are shooting this episode. Please go and invest your good and hard earned money in some gold and have some sweets and just enjoy with your family. Have a great time. Enjoy the days off, sleep in, and just have a great time.
Wow. So, my last one is a googly one. This is from your point of view. Describe Riddhi in one line.
um, so I'm not sure if you know, there's this lady by the name of Elizabeth Warren. She is a senator in the US, and in a Senate hearing a few years back, she stood up to put up a point of view across, and her time was cut short, and she was asked to sit down, but she wanted to finish her point, so she kept going, and the official remark was that we asked her to sit down, but nevertheless she persisted. And I think I resonate with that line a lot. It's also in my favorite movie, The Matrix, where Agent Smith asks Neo, after having fought him for a very long time, and Neo is almost defeated, but he still keeps standing back up. And Agent Smith asks Neo, why do you persist? And Neo says, because I choose to. And I think if I were to describe myself, that's what I would think about, because I think these things resonate with me. No matter how often life keeps throwing you down, or no matter what obstacles keep coming up in your life, persist, keep going, and I'm sure everything will be great. So that would be my
Wow.
answer.
Beautiful. So, let's put in the hot seat, the rapid fire round. Your favorite color,
Red.
your go to comfort food,
Dal pakwan.
morning person or night owl,
Night owl.
one word that defines your style of working,
Fast paced. That's two
dream
words, but
city,
fast. Yeah.
yes, sir. Dream city to live in,
I'm sorry, repeat that.
dream city to live in.
Dream city to live in. Amchi, Mumbai.
Okay. Best piece of advice received.
Uh, Go slowly but surely. And I think that's an antithesis to how fast I can be, but it's worthwhile advice.
Wow. Best Sindhi cuisine.
Best. So my mom is the ultimate cook, and my dad makes the ultimate Sindhi mutton. So either my mom's Sindhi cooking in general or my dad's Sindhi mutton.
Wow. Okay. अपना ये कॉफी और ग्रीन टी.
Coffee.
The coffee share. That's right.
Yes. Cheers.
You did well, and here's a book which you autograph and send to you as a Diwali gift. So, as we wrap up this conversation with Riddhi, we are reminded that the law is not only about statutes and contracts, but also about responsibility, trust, and adaptability. Her journey shows us how lawyers today are not confined to courtrooms but are partners in progress, innovation, and integrity. With a blend of precision in a profession and authenticity in a personal life, she exemplifies what it means to be a part of the next generation of lawyers. The Emerging Lawyer series celebrates such voices, and Riddhi's story stands as an inspiration for aspiring legal professionals everywhere. So, like that, there are 500 plus coffee speakers who have shared their journey, professional, personal. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and implement those inputs, insights shared. And we meet with another speaker or a cup of coffee tomorrow. So, take care. Thank you.